Hey, good afternoon, everybody. This is Coach Bill with Fat Loss Made Easy. Hope you guys are having a great Wednesday afternoon. I had to think about it for a second. Today, guys, it's a special topic. You guys know I've talked about this before. That I'm in a lot of different group sites, because really you get a lot of good information from these sites because of the questions a lot of the beginners have, or some of the issues that people are having when they're doing either intermittent fasting, low fat diet, or whatever diet that they're on, some of the difficulties that they're having with that diet. And then you're going to get a lot of people, and there's also a lot of health coaches on there too that are going to give their opinion on how to solve whatever issues that they have. Well, so what I'm going to do is, this is a topic that is most likely most of you have probably gone through it. No matter what diet you guys are on, it could be the one that we promote, the good dietary fat, low carbs, or paleo, or the all these fad diets, whatever diet you're on. You guys are going to go through multiple times of plateauing. That's just how the body works. And a lot of people are really having a frustrating time trying to figure out how to break through these plateaus. And that's understandable, because they're not educated in the physiology of the body when it comes to how certain foods react to the body. So that's understandable. Problem is that most people will get really frustrated and they'll quit too soon before their diet program is actually taking effect, and they're starting to see some results from it. And a lot of people also have an issue with patience. They want to, they've been overweight for years. They might be grossly overweight or whatever. Or there's other factors involved that's going to cause you to have to either plateau out or even have a hard time losing weight. And that's what we're going to talk about today. And of course, you guys have heard me talk about. Well, the topic today is actually when you're having a hard time losing weight, and you're doing everything right. And I'm even talking about my clients, the ones that are doing my high fat, high good fat, low carb meal plan, and we're combining it with intermittent fasting. I'm talking about them too. And also people that are on paleo or the Mediterranean diet or whatever diet that they're on. They've been on it for a while and everything is going great, and they're starting to lose weight at the very beginning, which is true. I mean, most diets you will. Your body just reacts to the lack of calories to where you're going to start losing some weight. At first, a lot of water weight, then some body fat. But then eventually the body realizes that what you're doing isn't exactly what it wants to do. So it's going to sabotage whatever you're doing with different factors. And one of the biggest ones, of course, is it's going to sabotage your diet by activating hormones that are going to give you the cravings of carbohydrates and sweets. Well, the thing is that the controversy that I'm hearing out there is, when is it a good time to when you need to actually look at maybe seeing a bioidentical hormone specialist? And what is the difference between a bioidentical hormone specialist versus your provider, a doctor, or your family doctor, or an MD friend? There's a difference between the two, guys. And what gives me the authority to even talk about this? Well, we've experienced it ourselves because of our competing in the past and the type of enhancing supplements that we were on for few years. The enhancing HGH growth hormones, the over-the-counter supplements we were taking, some pretty powerful ones, and also some pretty powerful fat burners. And we actually stacked different fat burnings to give us an edge before we walked on stage. Well, when you're doing this year after year, and because it's all synthetic, it's not natural, you are going to get side effects. And Emily and I both did. And she, matter of fact, got it. She got it really bad. I got metabolic hormonal damage, but not as severe as her. And so because of her last show, and we were trying to get her down, her body fat down so low, I made the mistake of increasing some of the over-the-counter enhancers, which eventually pretty much dried up her adrenals, and her metabolic damage was severe. And she was going through some very, very serious hormonal issues for a long time. So we had to sought out after a specialist, because we knew the MDs, we knew the family doctors or friend doctors. They had no idea on actually how hormones really worked. So we knew we had to find somebody special, and that was not hard. It was very, very hard to find somebody that would actually give us the right answers that we were looking for, and seeing the relief that she could get. And by the grace of God, Dr. Blanchette was put in our path, and we've been working with her now for the last probably 7-8 years now. And now, of course, Emily is actually naturally, her natural hormone mechanisms are back working again, and her adrenals are working fine, and now she's back in the right place. So that gives us the authority to talk about this, plus the education that we received from Dr. Blanchette. We work very close with her. But for you, especially for you ladies, now more and more men are seeing hormonal issues. Men go through menopause also, even worse so nowadays. The reason for that is because of the environmental toxins that are in the food and the water and the air you're breathing, which is causing the body to be very acidic, which is causing inflammation throughout the body. And inflammation causes not only many disease models, but also causes hormonal dysfunction. And especially now with estrogen being so high, according to science and the media reporting this, that estrogen is dominant in our waters and in our foods that we're eating, causing estrogen dominant men to gain the belly fat, and men to have man boobs, and young boys to even have man boobs. That's cause of estrogen dominant. And then also women is causing, breast cancer is not going away. If they're telling you that breast cancer is easing up, it's not true. It's not going to happen, because our environmental toxins are so at a critical level, causing so many issues. And most people don't recognize that the main driver to a lot of these hormonal issues is going to be food driven, and the amount of food you're eating and how many meals you're eating per day. And this is all backed by science. And so you women that are having a really, really rough time losing the belly fat, or you're going through a lot of hormonal changes, such as mood changes, sleep changes, things like that, I have to say, ladies, that it's not really your fault. It's the fault of your hormones and how your body is reacting to the foods, and you guys really don't know. All you know is that your doctor told you that you've got an imbalance of certain hormones, and you need to take certain rub-on creams that don't work. You need to take certain pills that don't work, or you're going to be told that you need to take injectable testosterone, whatever, and they don't work. The other issue, girls or ladies, and I'm going to read it. This is also for men. that you're not going to get the answers you're looking for or the results you're looking for going to your family doctor. It's just not going to happen unless you have a doctor that is very well versed in hormones for men and women, and also understands how nutrition plays a big part in hormones also. And most likely, most of you do not have someone like that. Now, Emily and I have worked with a lot of people in the last few years all over the world, and especially women. It seems like Canada is having a real issue up there with imbalanced hormones amongst the women. And so, you know, there's a time, ladies, and also men, that because your hormones are so tanked out, so low, so bad, your testosterone level is down to almost zero, your progesterone levels are very almost undetectable, and your estrogen levels are sky high, that even being on the best meal plan or the best exercise plan or the best diet, and even doing intermittent fasting, you might be in a position where it's not going to work as effectively and quickly as you need it to, because that's the issue. When your hormones are that tanked, that is you're in a very dangerous zone. Very dangerous zone. Mentally, physically. And so sometimes you ladies may need a boost. Your hormone mechanisms, the mechanism that is producing hormones might be not working efficiently, and you might need a boost to get that thing going as soon as possible. And I'll tell you right now, that boost cannot be over-the-counter supplementations that some doctor recommends. Even nutritionists aren't recommending the right type of medication or supplements over the counter. You know, for example, in my opinion, I think every man and woman should be on a product. Now, first of all, I'm not a doctor. I'm not here to prescribe anything. I'm just giving you information on my experience working with hundreds of different people out there and what they have found that works for them, and then the education I've been getting from my bioidentical hormone doctor that we've been working with very closely. And that one of the supplements out there that seems to be, which I think every man and woman should take for the rest of their lives, is a product called DIM, D-I-M. And not all DIM is the same. And so our Dr. Blanchett recommends a certain one. And Emily has tried other type that have not worked as well as the one that Dr. Blanchett recommends. And yes, we both are on it. And we will be on it the rest of our life. What DIM does is blocks the bad estrogen in your body. Remember what I said? Because of the environmental toxins, which will never, ever get away from, the estrogen level in water and food is so high that it's causing an imbalance of your hormones. Another person I know that I was working with who had cancer, who went down to Mexico to get treated down there because they do holistic in Mexico. The first thing the doctor did with her, which made it more concrete for me, is the doctors put her on DIM right off the bat. Told her, get on this now. So that just adds more credibility to how DIM actually works. But what I'm trying to make across here, guys, is that these synthetic injections, bioidentical hormone therapy is not going to increase your growth hormones. So if you think by taking bioidentical hormone therapy you're going to add a lot of lean muscle, most likely that's never going to happen, because that's not what it's designed for. Okay? And that's where most of the medical professionals and doctors are confused about or have no knowledge about. And that's why you need to go to a specialist. Now, what's sad is that my experience working with people all over the world, there are some of the women and men that I have had to tell them, okay, something isn't working here. You should be getting the results. Your glucose readings and your ketone readings are not showing up as well as they should. And we are doing everything we can naturally. Everything is naturally, not injectables. And so something is telling me. That's why during my on my online personal coaching clients, I like for them to get a complete hormonal panel test, just so I can see where they're at, and because that's going to tell me how difficult it is going to be for that person to lose weight. So that way I'm not guessing. I know for a fact now. Okay, well, we're going to have to fix the root cause, and the root cause is hormonal. And not everybody needs to see a bioidentical hormone specialist, but some do. And that's when their hormones are dangerously low. And that's when we recommend it. The issue right now, guys, is not all bioidentical hormone specialists are the same. I found that out. Matter of fact, the really sad thing is most of the ones that my clients found and went to, and they gave me an update, they were completely doing things different from the one that we've been using for the last 7 or 8 years, who actually put my wife back into a healthy hormonal environment. And not only her, but she's done hundreds and hundreds and hundreds. I mean, she's so busy, guys, that it's hard to even get in there. So that's telling you that person knows what they're doing. Now, she was an MD. She practiced in the medical field as an MD. And because of the hormonal issues amongst men and women, she saw a need to switch over to being a bioidentical hormone specialist, because it's a natural way of helping your own mechanism to produce its own hormones with a natural way. See, bioidentical hormones, guys, are derived from an actual plants. And so, which means it's not synthetic. It's not an injection. It's not a chemical that is injected into your body, and it's not actually a chemical that is put into a pill form. Okay? It's a small little tic-tac pellet that goes right under the skin. Now, what I've done is, because of the misinformation and people thinking that, oh, you're doing bioidentical hormones, so you're enhancing the growth of or adding lean muscle. No. That's not how. That's not what bioidentical. They're not designed to add lean muscle. I'll put that out of your mind. What they are designed to do is to help activate your own mechanisms that produce hormones, and it does it naturally because the compound in these pellets are identical to your own testosterone, or your own estrogen, and your own progesterone for women. So it's identical. So the body recognizes this. But what the bioidentical hormones doing is bringing your levels up to a natural, healthy level, until your own mechanisms start to produce its own hormones and keeps them at a healthy level. It could take a year, it could take 2 years, it could take 3 years. It depends on how bad you are. But once your mechanisms are actually producing naturally, then eventually you're going to be going off of the bioidentical hormones. Now, with my wife, she was so severe that she may have to be on them for a period of time for the rest of her life. Now, it has stretched out to over 6 or 7 months now. She has gone 7 or 8 months without them. And when she does her blood test, then it shows that her hormones are kind of dropping. So she can't afford to ever go back down again. Now, most people that I know that have done this are off of them over a period of time because they've changed their lifestyle. They're not eating the standard American diet, and they're doing intermittent fasting. Because see, when you do the high fat, high good dietary fat, low carb meals, and you combine it with the intermittent fasting, which is known, both of those are known to help hormone production, especially your growth hormones. That's the one you want to do it, but you want to do it naturally. Now, you men or women that are taking synthetic injections of growth hormones, you need to stop that right now. You men or women that are taking synthetic growth or testosterone shots, you need to stop that right now, because over a period of time, you are going to have some major medical issues. I can contest to that. I went through it when I was younger, powerlifting, and I almost died from it. So you guys are going to get some kind of side effects if you keep doing it. And the bad thing is you guys are going to cause your own mechanism that is designed to produce those hormones, especially your growth hormones, to eventually dry up and become non-reversible, which means that you're going to have to take synthetic chemical injections the rest of your life in order to keep your testosterone or growth hormones or progesterone up. And you don't want to ever do that, because you will get some kind of medical issue. So know that any over-the-counter HGH you take, and Henser, any of those over-the-counter fat burners that they're publicizing on commercials, all they're going to do is cause issues and cause you not to be able to produce your own hormones to ever get a good balance. Guys, these injections, you're up and down. Why do you think they attach that word? What's that word they want? When you're taking a lot of steroids, you're going through a raging steroid rage. Why do you think they go through steroid rage? Because they're up and down. See, a bioidentical hormones is a little pellet that goes inside, right on your, right below the skin, on your buttocks, and the body takes whatever testosterone is in that pellet when it needs it, as needed, and it's a vegetable. It's from a plant. So the body recognizes it as something being good, and like I said, eventually you're not going to have to do that, or if you're really bad, not as often as when you first started. And so like I said, there's a lot of misconception about bioidentical hormones. If you guys want to know about the doctor that we've been recommending to everybody, you can message me at bill@billmabrycoaching.com, and I'll send the contact information to you. But remember this, not all of you are going to have to go to a bioidentical hormone specialist, but if you do, you need to go to the right one, and the one that knows what they're doing, and they've been doing it for 15, 20, or 30 years. And the ones that are so busy that you might take you 8 months to get into, thank God Emily was able to get in early because of her major issues that she was having. But also, most of you can actually get your hormones back in check just by changing the types of food you're eating, when you or the time you eat, and how often you eat. And it's going to take some time. 90 days, probably not. 180 days, better. 6 months, even better. A year, most likely you're going to see some major changes, not only in your composition of your body, but you're going to see major changes in your mental status, because your hormones are starting to balance themselves out, because you're taking care of yourself. You're healthy. Okay. So what I've done is I wrote a book to clarify the difference between bioidentical hormones versus synthetic hormones, the truth. And in that book, I put in some scientific research showing different universities that actually commented on the safety factor of doing a bioidentical hormone therapy while you're trying to fix your own mechanisms that produce the hormones, and also show you that how dangerous synthetic hormones are. And those of you that actually are doing my online personal coaching plans and courses and packages, you guys will have access to that book. Like I said, I'll say it one more time. The only time you're going to really need a bioidentical hormone specialist, if nothing else works naturally that you're doing, and that's including a high-fat, low-carb meal plan, combining it with intermittent fasting, or when you do your actual hormone panels and you look at it, and if you're men and women both, if your testosterone is generally low, then you got to do something about it. And hopefully you're not going to have to do bioidentical hormone special. You can do it with your food. Now, the other thing I got to warn you about, your doctor, your family doctor, your care doctor, whoever, they don't have enough experience in reading those hormonal panels. And for me, I'll give you an example, is I'm pushing 70 now. And if I were to show the doctor my very first hormone panel I did, my testosterone level was down to 286, and my estrogen levels were sky high, which makes me a candidate for prostate cancer. When you show that, when your doctor reads that, the doctor told me, for your age, your testosterone level is okay. And that's not true. Why in the world would I want to have a testosterone level of 286, which is a 65-year-old man, when I can get my testosterone up to over 1,000 of a 17 or 18-year-old naturally, and keep it there consistently? I would think that'd be the best way, because you know for a fact that your hormones will predict and help slow premature aging. So if your hormones are up where they should be, you're going to slow premature aging. That's what the hormones help you do. Okay? So guys, I hope you saw some value in this, and we'll see you guys at the next video. Have a great night.